Hello everybody, welcome to Hiruzen in Okayama Prefecture, part of the Daisen-Oki National Park. This is Shinjo.
Shinjo, yes, the beautiful village of Shinjo.
A small town here in the countryside of Japan. And just recently, it was announced that the city of Tokyo will be giving out 1 million yen per family, per child.
Per child, yeah.
To move outside of the city of Tokyo to go to places like here. There's 1,300 municipalities participating in this program. It's the latest in these incentives given by the city to get people to move out of the metropolitan areas. And in this episode, we're going to be discussing why that is and our own situations, and is it enough of an incentive for us to move out of either the center of Tokyo or the suburbs of Tokyo, because that also counts in this. If you're commuting into Tokyo to Saitama and Chiba, apparently, according to Kyoto News, the link is in the description, that counts as being in this program, which is kind of crazy. If you have, I think it's up to 3 million yen, and if you intend to start a business in the countryside where you move, you can have incentives up to 5 million yen or $50,000. Is that enough for you to leave the city to go out to the countryside, a place like Fukui, or here in Okayama and Totori, where you have this? Look at all this space. It's crazy, right?
It's a little bit different from Tokyo, isn't it?
It is very different. In this live stream, we're also going to be showing you the town of Shinzo and talking about our experience in Hiruzen. We left Tokyo for 4 days to come out to the national park, to the cities around this plateau region, and discover about it. I'd never been here before, and it's been an incredible trip to get to understand the Japanese countryside. You're going to get a chance to see it too. Now, I live in the 23 wards of Tokyo. Wow, it's really loud underneath here.
It's also very low.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't know if we even have a signal here. Yeah, this is a live stream, everybody. I don't even know if, when you consider moving out of the city of Tokyo, there are a lot of factors involved, especially if you have kids.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thinking about your business, so much of the work that I do is related to Tokyo, right? So I need to have access to Tokyo. So that's a big consideration, isn't it? Can you move to a totally new place like this? And then what do you do? Start a new business at the same time. So it's a big life choice, isn't it?
It is a huge life choice, but here's the deal, right? Tokyo made Tokyo so darn good. Tokyo made Tokyo so beautiful and so convenient. There's parks, there's sidewalks, they're increasing the bicycle paths. There's so many schools inside of there. It's safe, it's clean. It's just so nice for us, especially. I mean, if you compare it to New York City, you really can't. I mean, living in Tokyo is not that bad.
It's not that bad at all.
It's not that bad.
I did 10 years. You're over 20, right? No?
Right.
Yeah.
There are some things that are really annoying. And if you look at the trends for moving into Tokyo, the trend lines are ridiculous. Everyone is leaving the countryside and moving into the cities. And that's going to be causing a big problem around 2050, where Tokyo is just, can it be that elastic, right?
Yeah, Tokyo is getting more and more overcrowded every year.
I think really is.
Is it the only city in Japan where the population is actually growing? The only prefecture that's going up?
It is.
And every other prefecture in Japan, the population is coming down.
Well, Yonago, the city very close by, had a population increase for 5 or 6 years straight. So people were moving into Yonago.
Oh, that's good.
Maybe from regional, smaller towns moving into the city of Yonago, possibly. The Sea of Japan is a little bit more unique than on the Pacific side. But I think it would take a big incentive to move out here. But the more I look at places like this, the more I consider it. You know, look at it. It's just absolutely stunning. Shinjo is a very traditional town. There's a hotel here that I believe it's a couple hundred years old. A kominka is what they said. Yeah, you can stay there and have your own personal chef at one of these houses here. Maybe we'll go past it. It's just such a beautiful, quiet place to live with a lot of space, not a lot of traffic. It's just safer. Even the manhole covers here are pretty crazy. Check it out. Do you see this? It's just, manhole covers are a capsule of everyday life. And this one you can see, the old houses on this street that we're actually on right now. represented.
Shinjo.
Yeah, in Shinjo is represented here. Where exactly are we? Check out this map. This will help you get an idea. There's Tokyo, that big urban center. We're down in western Japan. There's Kyoto, Osaka, and Okayama, which is a stop on the Shinkansen. But we're on the Sea of Japan side, close to Mount Daisen and Yonago. That plateau area you see is Hiruzen. And Shinjo is within there. And that's this town right here.
So living here means living on the edge of a national park, right? Which is cool.
Very much so, yeah.
National park on your doorstep.
Look at that, such clean water. That's another thing. So, I mean, you can drink water anywhere in Japan. Japan is, I think, the only country in Asia where any town you go to, any place in the entire country, you can drink the tap water. I was really blown away. That's what I was told. I was blown away by that information when I heard it. Even the most remote place in Japan has drinkable tap water, which is so cool. So there's not a really unlivable place in the entire country, except maybe on the top of a volcano. But that's another. There's so many different things and factors to think about when you move to a place like here. Are there schools? Is there going to be work for me? What am I going to do? How do you do shopping? How does your life change? Can you make friends?
Especially if you're used to that Tokyo convenience, right?
Right.
You used to have a convenience store 30 seconds from your house. You now have to drive 30 minutes to find a convenience store or supermarket.
There's no more convenience store. You need one of these contraptions called a car for everything. And that can be kind of inconvenient if you don't like driving. I like driving. The more I drive in Japan, the more I kind of enjoy it. I haven't gotten any tickets yet. There's also the question of healthcare, right?
Yes.
Does that matter in Tokyo versus the countryside?
Yeah, and if it doesn't matter to you now, does it matter to you in the future, right? If you're going to stay here for a long time and you're getting older in Japan, do you have to start thinking about it then?
You do.
Yeah.
Proximity to a hospital, for example, is something. But I think the healthcare is pretty much the same. It's a national healthcare plan that we have. Check this out here. This is such a beautiful house. Look at it. Is that somebody living there?
I think it is a house, yeah.
Somebody living there. Wow. Man,
And
these
then
are...
all of these trees here are sakura.
Oh, right. These are sakura trees.
Yeah.
Oh, in the spring, this would be beautiful.
Wouldn't it be amazing?
Yes.
You can just imagine, right?
This is a really
tunnel
quiet...
of cherry blossom.
Really quiet street, isn't it? Like, I could see myself buying a house here.
Yeah?
Yeah, I really could. I think one thing I don't like about some places in the older towns are these the electrical wires are above ground. They did that because one reason is because of the earthquakes that they have here. But now we have the technology to put them underground, and they're trying really, really hard to do that. But when you do that, you can also widen the streets a little bit because those electrical wires are kind of getting in the way.
It's very sleepy, isn't it?
Oh, I guess this would be like the closest convenience store. I guess it's a tobacco stand, but they also have some good stuff in here. I guess we can take a quick look, see. Wow. This is really pretty inside. I think they have just about everything I need for daily life, don't you? That looks like a throwback from the old Showa era. I wouldn't mind that. Another thing I think that's certainly a consideration when you move is work. I could live anywhere and still do what I do.
Yeah, I actually think this would suit you well, living here.
Yeah, this could work for me. I only have one son, so we would get 1 million yen. But if we started a business here, because my wife is also an entrepreneur, she has a business, and I think that we could maybe make that work and get the maximum of 50,000 or 5 million yen. There was an article in the New York Times, the Washington Post it was, and they called this one of a chain of, what was the quote, of unnecessary incentives or something like this. And I read it, and they were very negative on this
Seems
idea.
very harsh, doesn't it?
They were really harsh on it. What do you think about the criticism of these kinds of programs?
I think it's quite a good idea. Like, I don't see why, like, anything. I don't see anything bad coming from this, right? It may be. I think you were telling me before they were trying it for about sanjuman yen, a lower amount of money, for $3,000.
Right. This program starts in April of 2023.
And that's when the amount will go up to the almost $10,000. I don't know. Why not try it? You know, that's maybe for us. It might be, you know, a bonus to moving out of the city.
Wait. Do you hear it?
As would this sound also be a bonus for moving out of the city.
You have like jingles in the countryside. Do you hear it? It's some sort of jingle. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, it. I don't know if it's. It's hard to say what is the right thing and the wrong thing. I just know that in 2019, before the pandemic hit, according to the program, 1,381 people moved out of the city, out to the countryside, taking advantage of the 300,000 yen per child incentive to move out of the city. And I do see more and more people considering it now after the pandemic, because it was so hard in the cities at this for the last 3 years. One of the reasons that I think me and you would love to live here is probably the onsen, the hot springs.
Yeah, that's
right?
nice. Yeah, having a hot spring on your doorstep.
We have Sento public bathhouses in Tokyo, but nothing like what they have here. Dean and I actually went to one of these places. Well, you just got to see it. It's an outdoor bath that's co-ed called Konyoku. Anybody can go there for free. You can take a bath in the town. Check this out. There you are right there. It's I think, how many people were there when you were there? There was like 20 people in the bath.
Yeah, I guess a busy time you're going to get 20, but normally it's just going to be a handful, isn't it?
Yeah. We had towels on for filming purposes, but normally people are completely naked. And they do have a sign saying, "Don't flaunt it," which I thought was so funny. It's a cute little sign. But this is with the 360 camera. You get an idea of the atmosphere around the bath, and it is it's right outside of the dam. This is just a free hot spring that the city provides to anybody. One of the attractions. They have a festival, a hot spring festival that's here as well. And there's a hotel right up behind our shoulders, so people can actually see us in the hotel. Here's the sign. You see that? That sign there, that's the cubby where and you can leave your clothes there, and it says, "Don't show off." There's the river right next to the hot spring, so it's so relaxing. The temperature is just perfect, isn't it?
It's lovely, huh?
Yeah.
They've got 3 different pools, and the temperature ranges from 39 to 42 degrees, I think.
That's very comfortable. I know outside is below freezing. There's some snow clouds swirling ahead, and at any time it could possibly snow, making this even more scenic of an experience. But according to the rankings up there, this is considered a Yokozuna onsen, hot spring bath, meaning it is top ranked in one of the number one in Western Japan, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, absolutely is, yeah.
Hot spring is a reason to travel around Japan, and if you're on that hot spring circuit, this is a must stop.
Be prepared to bear all in front of a lot of different people.
Yeah. There's hotels all around us, and this is also a konyoku bath, meaning men and women will enter. Women, I think, have a special gown that they'll come in, and we're wearing towels also because of the videoing of this. But it's certainly an experience to go to a konyoku bath, but it's good because you can enjoy it if you're with a family. And there it is. So I think that having a place like that, or having that hot spring culture in the countryside of Japan, it's just so attractive. And that's one of the reasons that they say that people live longer in Japan, because they're more relaxed. And those hot spring waters really do rejuvenate you and really relax you. You can't do that in the cities. Not really.
No, I don't go to Sento in the city.
Yeah.
For me, onsen is something that comes with traveling in Japan. It's part of the experience.
Yeah. I just love, look at the street here. Do you see this? Like right on the corner. First, I love the way that they protect the trees. These are cherry blossom trees, but you have a little shrine right here, right?
It's cute.
That's so awesome. You can feel the history of this town. We just heard from a local that we can go into that store.
Stores, yeah.
Yeah, so let's go take a look at the convenience store. Yeah. The same shop. They said we can go in.
It was closed, but it wasn't.
Yeah, it's open. They said we can go inside. There's been and after we show you the shop, I want to take you to one of the trends that's happening in the Japanese countryside. A lot of younger people are taking advantage of programs and incentives from local areas. I made a video called Leave Tokyo, Save the Country about last year. I think I uploaded that video on the main Only in Japan channel. It's edited video content. And there we looked at another prefecture that was incentivizing people moving into abandoned houses at a reduced rate and making businesses there, and it's working. So it's hard to say what works and what doesn't work unless you try it. Oh, we're good to go?
Yeah.
All right, so we've come back up the street.
It's funny because you so seldom see anyone moving here, right? Like cars go past a couple of times, maybe in an hour,
right?
Like maybe even in a day, and we haven't seen anybody walking on the street.
People are asking, why is it so empty here? Because we're not in Tokyo. Japan is a crowded country in the cities. Out here, this is what it's like for real. It's very little cars. The population has been decreasing for decades.
Yeah.
And you're at a point where it's a fraction of the population that it was in the 1970s. That's when the
and don't forget, this is the middle of winter, right? We're in the thick of winter, so it's about. I know we're only wearing hoodies because the sun is out, but it's only about 4 degrees right now. So of course, most people.
Is it solar heat that much? Wow.
It was -4 when we started today. It's probably about 4 now. So
that's crazy.
People are hiding inside.
That's crazy. Let's go. Let's have a look inside this old store.
After you.
Konnichiwa. Wow. I love the ambiance.
I love the poster deal.
Oh yeah, you do. I do too. Should I zoom in on that?
Awesome.
You can see the posters.
Oh, and Tiger Woods.
Oh really? Oh yeah, he did Wanda. He did Wanda coffee commercials back in the 1990s and early 2000s. Very natsukashi ne.
Konnichiwa.
こんにちは。ありがとうございます。すみません。あ、日本酒もありますよね。Oh. Shall we get a couple of drinks, team? Wow. This is nice. And then here's a tatami room. I guess this is where you can count the
この辺お店はそんなにないですか?
Oh, they got some beers here. Oh, they got Dyson beer. It's the local stuff. Dean, what would you like to drink? We have some.
To drink?
Yeah, rokucha, namacha, Fanta peach.
Fanta peach.
Yeah, a pear. Sorry, pear.
Fanta pear sounds good. It's in
Yeah.
a very cute sized bottle as well.
France. I'll have a namacha.
All right. Not a beer.
No, I was showing that. I'd love
Not
to
a
get a
Dyson
Dyson
beer.
cheap beer here. It's a lot of the daily necessities: sugar, salt, butter, milk, ice cream, beer, potato chips.
You're gonna have to give me money, I think.
Okay, here. Yeah, I got it, buddy.
That's one thing to remember, that if you're not in Tokyo, there's no using credit cards and denshi money. Thank you.
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
この建物は何年前？
もう100年ある？ここから後ろは新しくして It's 100 years old here.
Over 100
in
years
front of the
old.
shop.
I love the atmosphere. I guess they don't take, they didn't take credit cards there. Maybe not. It's all cash.
I just wanted to be cashless.
It's all cash. We can't go in there and not buy something, I think, right? They do have a vending machine in front there, which is something, but
Drinks and tobacco.
it's not quite as convenient as the cities, living in the countryside. Of course, there's no other place like it. But one of the things that I was struck by when I talked with Violet, who lives in another prefecture, she moved from Tokyo to the countryside. She said, "Look, 10 years ago you couldn't do this, but now you can just order stuff on Amazon and they send it within 3 days or something."
That's true. Yeah.
Right.
So life is getting easier. To live in the countryside.
Right. They'll send you what you need.
Yeah.
It's not the greatest thing for the environment, but what are you gonna do when you live? Also you can't let these towns just rot away either. But that's sort of what's happening. A lot of the infrastructure is crumbling and not a lot of money is going in there. And it really comes down to the older generation is a little bit too unwilling to change local councils and stuff. But that's changing as the next generation starts to take charge. We are seeing way more progress. And I want to show you a cafe hotel that Dean and I went to just a couple of days ago. Check this out. This is like how nice this area is starting to turn. There was a really trendy cafe. Check this out. Do you remember what this was called? Mori no Naka. So I'll put a link in the description. I just slipped my mind, but you can see it's actually like an Airbnb in there, and they will eat. You can eat all your meals here inside. It is so nice. Look at those glass doors that open out to the snow. Oh man, the table outside. Of course, this is really wonderful in the spring, summer, and fall when the weather might be a little bit warmer, but the winter is good too. Just a different view outside the window. Really clean. Look at that bathtub. Nice view. Here's the outdoor table. Check it out. I could see Kanai, Leo, and I having dinner here every night with the crickets in the background, maybe in the summer. Oh, I love it.
This is a lovely place to stay as a family, right?
Right. Yeah, a little place where you can hang out and sit. And here's the bedroom, and you can see in the window outside of there, that's where the cafe is. And you can just go in there, have a coffee, and your meals are served in there as well. Mori Kurasu is the name of it. Mori Kurasu. And we'll put a link in the description. Look at the way that they protected the trees. They just cut holes in the roof so the tree would be able to grow through there. And they built it around the nature. I just love that concept. That's so cool. So that's between the room that's for rent and the cafe. I love it. And this is made by an entrepreneur. Look at how stylish that is. It's just what it is. It's just wood. You didn't have to do a lot to it. Yeah, Mori Kurasu is the name of it, and that's not too far away from here. That's it here in Hiruzen. And young business owners, young people that move in here, can't find jobs, so they start businesses. And those businesses are like cafes, restaurants, things that they need in the town that's missing.
Yeah.
So when people see that they have that, it makes it almost enough for them to move there. And the more that this creates, it generates momentum into that. I've seen a couple of other towns and other prefectures that are better than others at making that shift of attracting people in, because you need places like that.
Sure. Which encourages somebody else to go and step outside the box and do something else like that, right?
You can also go there to work. They've got Wi-Fi. You can go there and take your laptop. You can work at home and go to a place like this. You do need a car, but it is certainly nice to have nice places. Look at this place. Is that wakimizu? We can drink this, Dean. I think we can drink this.
Certainly a hand wash station.
I'm not sure. I think I can try to just drink it. I can try. Oh, that's good. Wakimizu. It's just spring water that just comes
straight from the mountains.
And this is one of the things that just attracts me to the countryside. It's better food, better water, better air,
Everything more reasonably
better
priced.
environment,
So you can eat organic,
friendly
vegetables
people.
and- yeah.
There's the good with the bad. The infrastructure might be, need some work, but I see signs of buds on the trees again, whereas the population's been declining for the last 50 years. It's starting to, some places have that
Life is
attractive.
coming back.
Right. So when you add in this, the 10,000 yen or $10,000 or 1 million yen per child, I can see that if people are thinking about it, being the one thing that puts it over the top.
I think, yeah, that's exactly right. I don't think the incentive finds a new person and for the incentive for that money, I'm going to leave the city. I think it's somebody who's teetering on the edge, right?
Right.
Maybe somebody like yourself who's been thinking about it a few times, and then this incentive comes in as well. And then maybe the program where you can pick up an Akia, an abandoned home, you can get a house like this for almost free.
Right.
So if you add these incentives together, life in the countryside starts to make sense, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. I also want to know who my neighbors are. Like that can make or break an experience. But they get a nice little rock garden in the front here, and we walk around the town. And actually, would love to hear from you. Would this be enough for you to move out of the city and into the country? I think if you've been living in Japan, I'm now going into my 25th year. I moved here in 1998. So in July, I'll be celebrating 25 years, which is more than half my life now in Japan. And most of the time has been in Tokyo now. And I didn't intend it to be so, but it happens to, because there's a lot of work there.
Yeah.
And it's just convenient to get to Haneda Airport for me to fly home to get on the Shinkansen. But after I got a driver's license, it really opened up the countryside, and it made me think differently about Japan with a car. There's a lot of places that are not accessible by train. A lot of places where after you get to the station, you need to catch that taxi or bus, and driving is just so convenient. Japan has some of the biggest car makers in the world. Nissan, Toyota, Subaru, Daihatsu, Mitsubishi.
Yeah.
And of course, there's going to be a very strong car culture despite having the trains. Look at that. It's like, what is that? It's like right on the street here. This is where you put the gomi, the trash, so the birds don't get it. That is the most beautiful trash.
Is that really true?
Yeah, that's for trash. It says here, gomi.
No.
It is, right?
It is.
Yeah.
And they put kawara, they put the traditional tiling on the trash box.
Traditional tiling.
That's crazy.
This is for trash.
So I've been checking out this because I really love kawara, and you can see them on all the houses, and they all have decorative figureheads on them as well on the houses. But I never thought they would go to the level of actually decorating the place where you put
Right?
the trash. That's so
For
cool.
trash, they have such a
if you look,
a beautiful.
if you look up, you've got the fish,
Oh wow! Look at that.
and they don't do that so much anymore.
The little details.
They're very expensive. Like that.
That's the end of the roof to keep all the tiles from falling off, right?
And to look pretty.
Absolutely. So I guess what I'm saying is when I looked at the Washington Post article calling it an ill-advised incentive and a string of them, it's hard to judge it until we see what happens, and it's going to take a little bit of time. Again, Tokyo moved it from 300,000 yen per child to 1 million yen, and now I'm actually considering it even more, especially with the 5 million yen for a business. I mean, why not? It's just really nice. That's not every year though. That's just a one-time payment. So you have to make it.
Yeah, and you have to
you
make
have to
that business
consider
work.
it.
Yeah.
Now, of course, some of you might be thinking, "All right, well, I'm going to do this, and then next year I'll move back to Tokyo." You can't do that. There are rules in place for this program, meaning you have to live in that location as a resident for 5 years. And then
you also can't do what I've done. I went to Kanagawa Prefecture, a neighboring prefecture, and then I commute to work in Tokyo, and that's also not allowed, right? We can't use this incentive to move out of Tokyo to Chiba and still work in Tokyo.
I believe, I believe that was one of the criteria in it. There's a link in the description that describes. Again, I love this street. It just has spring water. You have to try that.
It's so sustainable because the water is just running all the time, right?
Right.
It runs from the mountain. It comes past here. It's just passing by, and you just catch the water as it comes by.
You can take that back. I might
get fresher than that.
It's when I travel to the countryside, I sometimes have 2-liter empty PET bottles. If I know that there's wakimizu, I capture the spring water and I take it back, and you can make coffee with it. You can cook with it. You can just drink it and put it in the refrigerator and enjoy it. It's certainly, the water has zero taste. That's what makes it awesome. It's just perfectly refreshing. And this manhole cover reflects the town of Shinjo, which is where we are. It's just so beautiful. The canals flowing through. Somebody's bicycle there. The moss growing on the side of it. There's probably some koi or carp in the springs here just to make it complete. And we're at the end of the street here, which is our goal. What do you guys think? How do you feel about this program? Is 10,000 yen enough of an incentive for you to move out of, let's say, New York and move out to like the upstate New York, or
$10,000.
$10,000, right?
Yen,
per
no,
child.
not
No,
enough.
$10,000 per child. Would you move out of Montreal to go to the countryside? Out of Toronto to move to, or Los Angeles and move to another region? Again, if a population is increasing and the data shows that it's going to be ridiculous over the next 20 years of just unsustainable growth in Tokyo, is the city that elastic? I think they're trying to say maybe not, and get people to move Tokyo to move out to the countryside. We're at the end of the street. You can see you can't do this in Tokyo.
That's what the locals do, right?
Right. You can't really bring a sled and do this anywhere in the city of Tokyo.
Nice.
Very nice. Let's look back down at this street here in Shinjo. But not for 5 years, writes in USSJ Otaku. Does that amount go far in the country? It can if you're setting up a business or something.
I actually think that is yes, because I know people who live in the countryside and they're kind of like country rich, and Tokyo is Tokyo poor. You live in Tokyo and you earn more than people, but you always have less money because everything is so expensive, right? You come out here and probably rent and buying a house is probably 1/10 of what it would be in Tokyo.
Oh yeah, the rent is ridiculous that I have to pay.
So the houses are almost getting given away. Rent is nominal. So yeah, life is so cheap in the countryside that if you're earning money, it really like
$50,000 bonus to move out is actually quite a bit.
Yeah.
That would go quite a long way. And if you're a new business owner, that would definitely make a huge investment. That would put it over the top, depending on the business, for a lot of people. I have to be honest with you. You can hire workers. The labor isn't as expensive in the countryside. There's just so much.
That's true too.
There's so many other things, right? Space.
If your business needs space, then if you have to have a car park or like set up infrastructure, you have space.
This is awesome feedback, guys. Thank you. But what kind of job can you get there? The answer, Gary, is that you would start your own business. I don't know. There are some factory jobs. There are government jobs. When I was in Aogashima on the island, most of the island workforce was in government positions, and a lot of the local governments do employ a lot of people. But just look across the street here. See here more store space. There's more places for people to rent businesses and come up with ideas, and that's what it's all about. You have to come up with an idea. I think entrepreneurs are going to be the people that are generating and creating in these small towns, because there aren't a lot of things. This is a blank canvas. I see this as blank canvas. Ada, there is Wi-Fi. There's also good 4G signal, as you can see from this live stream here, maybe better than Tokyo. So you are well connected to the internet. Internet is everywhere in Japan. The speeds might not be as good, but it's everywhere. But you can see how beautiful it is out here, how much space it is, and how much more relaxed. I'm so much more relaxed after 4 days here. I'm gonna ruin it when I get back to Tokyo, but gosh, it is a blank slate. It's a blank piece of paper. And as the population declines even further, it's becoming even more blanker. And that leaves, for creative people, there's almost no boundaries except for the ridiculous rules of some localities, but even that's changing. Again, some towns have younger people coming in to become the mayor of the town. Some of the mayors are becoming, look, the tax revenue is going down. What can we do? So people are open to change, but not every town is there yet, but it is definitely in that trajectory where living out in the countryside can be a possibility. For me, the most challenging thing would be some of the silly rules or the stuff that makes it hard to live there and start a business. Sometimes it's not always the best, so you do have to inquire. Getting an abandoned house, also, you have to definitely get it.
There's a lot of paperwork.
There's a lot of paperwork, and a lot of the families might just rent the empty houses. They want to keep that in the family, but that's changing too. There's going to be some laws I hear on the horizon where it's better for them to sell it than to try to keep it, because an abandoned house is an abandoned house. It can be used for something. Yeah,
And so it should be.
so it should be. Banks you can find at convenience stores. There's an ATM in this Michinoeki, I believe.
Yeah.
So you can still
I
get.
even saw an ATM on that street that we're walking on there.
There was
Can
an
you believe
ATM on that
There was an
street,
ATM,
yeah. So, every 7-Eleven has an ATM. Every single convenience store has an ATM. There's banks, and the ATMs are also double as banks. So you can deposit money as well as put money in, I believe, at some of them. It's just that the culture has become so convenient now in Japan, especially with the internet and Amazon and other Rakuten and other places, other services that connect the country. It's not as inconvenient as it used to be. So I would say if these incentives keep coming and the towns become more open-minded, I think that there will be a migration out of the cities. I just kind of hope so, because without it, we're going to lose places like this. We're going to start to lose towns like this. This is one of the most beautiful places. Look at this. Look at this. Leave Tokyo, save Japan. That's basically
Nice
what it is.
Yeah, nice.
Leave Tokyo, save Japan. It's almost like that. Thanks everybody for watching. Leave any comments below if you have any questions. And again, if you're thinking of retiring in Japan, there's actually a website, Retiring in Japan. There's a guy who's doing that. There's lots of assets on the internet for you to do that. And hit our Discord server if you'd like to talk a little bit more about it. Funny YouTubers, wants to leave Japan. There's lots of people who are in that part in their life, right, where they need a change, and this could be what you're looking for. I don't know, everybody's different, but for me it's something like I am considering it, so we'll see. Thanks everybody for watching. Dean and I are
Thank you.
back onto the road. I gotta go to the airport. Thank you, Double X out the leech right in here. What about incentivizing individuals that don't have children? I think that there are some business incentives. I know Ken, who was in another video I made, received some money, but they want kids there because they want to fill the schools, because schools are closing down, and if too many schools close down, then no one is going to move there because there's no school nearby. So having schools nearby is critical, and having a population increasing is critical. Too many schools have shut down, so I think right now they're incentivizing people. So again,
Otherwise, you can borrow mine.
You can borrow his kids. You can borrow Leo. Yeah, the one thing that makes it difficult are the school closures in Japan, and that's sometimes you have to go 2 towns over to get to a junior high school, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes out here, and that's really hard. That's a great question. Thanks for asking, the leech. Thanks, guys. I'll leave a comment in the. And if you want to see more from this area, Dean and I did about 6 live streams here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Over the last
number 7. So.
This is number 7. Over the course of the last few days, we've been doing live streams. Get a chance to meet some of the people of the countryside of Okayama and Tottori Prefecture, and get an idea of what living out in the countryside is all about. And if you liked it, subscribe to Only Japan Go. Dean's channel is called Runaway.
Runaway Japan.
And we'll see you in another live stream really soon. I'm back to the airport, back to Tokyo. But I have a feeling I might be back here someday. Real soon. Bye from Shinjo, Okayama. See you guys.